Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into a topic that might seem pretty lighthearted, really, but it's actually America's fastest growing sport, and maybe for reasons that go a lot deeper than just, fun. We're talking about pickleball. And our mission today is, well, to uncover how this seemingly simple game can actually serve as a profound tool for mental and emotional healing. Our sources are really rich. We've got insights from Dr. Amit Pandey and Dr. Rafri Joshi. They blend scientific understanding with really personal experiences, plus various studies, real-world testimonials. This deep dive, we hope, will shed some light on the surprising ways that movement, genuine connection, and just being present can actually rewire your nervous system. For resilience, for recovery, you might just find yourself nodding along, actually. So, we start with a journey into something I think many of us might silently relate to, a season of quiet emotional unraveling. It's not like a big dramatic breakdown or even obvious burnout. It's more this pervasive numbness, a slow fading, often kind of masked by just being really productive. Mornings feel like an obligation. That inner voice is constantly whispering, you're behind or you're not enough. You replay conversations looking for mistakes, and the body, well, it shows the signs of chronic stress, doesn't it? Cortisol flooding, racing heart, shallow sleep, maybe weird cravings, hypervigilance, like constantly checking emails, always scanning for danger. It's like your brain's default mode network, that background noise machine. It gets stuck on this loop of like 80% negative thoughts, 95% reruns.
Yeah. And what's really crucial to grasp there is how deeply the body holds on to this stress, even when your conscious mind is saying, okay, move on. This isn't just emotional thinking. It's biological. It's physiological. The nervous system can literally get locked into a state of high alert,
Yeah.
kind of survival mode that ultimately it disconnects us from joy, from connection, even from our own body sometimes.
Right. So how did something like pickleball, a simple game, manage to interrupt such a deep loop for the author? It sounds like it started almost by accident, just a casual invitation from a neighbor, and the author felt, quote, terrible, really didn't want to go. The court itself wasn't even perfect, cracked, worn, but it apparently hummed with laughter, this real sense of playfulness. And then this pivotal moment happened. After 4 missed shots in a row, a woman, maybe in her 60s, she just clapped and said, that's how we all start. And that unexpected acceptance just for showing up, it immediately softened something inside the author. Something rigid just kind of gave way.
The moment of acceptance, it's a fascinating gateway, isn't it? Straight into the brain's incredible capacity for healing. One of the first things we see happening, neuroscientifically speaking, is something called transient hypofrontality. Basically, during fast rhythmic activity like pickleball, the prefrontal cortex, that's the part judging, evaluating, hosting that inner critic. It actually quiets down temporarily. This creates a state of just pure presence, a thought interruption, you could call it. Your mind's usual loops get hijacked by the demands of the moment, by the game. For this person, it felt like these tiny, precious micro moments of safety from their own thoughts, finally letting them, exhale.
So it's like a built-in mental pause button? That makes sense. And from that space, that presence, the sources show how it starts paving the way for deeper rewiring. Thanks to neuroplasticity, the brain's amazing ability to, well, reconfigure itself. Every repeated thought, emotion, action, it lays down a pathway, right? Pickleball, with its consistency, the emotion, like the joy of laughing together, and the actual physical experience, it provided exactly what was needed to build these new neural roads. So phrases like, I'm learning, I showed up, that's enough, they gradually started overriding those old, really shaming loops.
Exactly. And it's not just about personal repetition either. We also have to consider the power of mirror neurons. These are fascinating brain cells. They activate not just when we do something, but also when we watch someone else do it. So seeing other players laugh after a missed shot or just shrug it off instead of, spiraling, that taught the author's brain on an unconscious level, oh, that's allowed. That's actually safe. It leads to this gradual, almost unconscious mimicry of grace, of self-compassion. The court essentially became this living classroom where mistakes were met with laughter, not punishment.
Wow. So this consistent engagement, it then sort of blossomed into what the authors are calling a ritual of rewiring. That old saying, what fires together, wires together. It really comes alive here. Small, consistent acts, just showing up, even when tired, became this new routine. And the word reset on the court, it wasn't just about the score anymore. It became this really profound metaphor for life, practicing failure without the usual shame attached. And this practice forged new inner truths, like you can be present without being perfect, or you can belong without being impressive, even you can stay, even when you're unsure.
And how did these shifts actually, feel? How did they show up? The authors describe it beautifully as a quiet win. It's not some dramatic breakthrough, but a subtle shift that feels incredibly profound. Healing came in whispers, they say, standing a little taller, not flinching when someone gave a compliment, leaving dishes in the sink without that wave of guilt. It was about speaking more kindly to oneself, recognizing, okay, you're doing your best. This was the joy muscle getting stronger, slowly overpowering the shame muscle. It led to this rooted stillness, replacing the numbness. The author felt like they were reappearing by rally, actually keeping a rally journal to track presence, not just, points won.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly and talk about stress. Not just a stressful event, but stress is a chronic condition because so many of us, like the author, we exist in this state of just quiet bracing, right? Holding our breath, constantly tense, waiting for something to go wrong. Shoulders creeping up towards the ears, jaw aching, stomach in knots. For the author, stress had almost become part of their identity, being the reliable one, the one who juggles everything. Even rest felt like a performance. But then a simple pickleball rally right in the middle of a super stressful week, it allowed for a full, deep exhale, a physical reminder of what safety actually felt like in the body.
That's such a critical point. Why does the body hang on to the stress even when the mind thinks it's moved on? Well, our nervous system has its own memory, a very intricate one. Chronic stress literally rewires it to expect tension to stay primed for danger even when there's no immediate threat. This is where concepts from, say, somatic psychology or Stephen Porges's polyvagal theory become so valuable. They explain how the body gets stuck in these protective states. Pickleball, through what the sources call ritualized safety, offered this profound recalibration, a new script for the nervous system. It's like the body learned, okay, you move, you breathe, you miss a shot, you laugh, you hit reset, you try again, and nobody else. This consistent signaling, this ritual, it gradually displaces the fear.
So it's not just any movement. It sounds like pickleball provides a very specific, maybe the right kind of movement for this kind of healing. It's rhythmic, it feels safe, it's social, it's playful, and crucially, it's non-threatening. That seems really different from, say, chaotic or really punishing exercise routines.
Exactly. It mirrors that concept of pendulation you see in somatic therapy, that natural, healthy back and forth between activation, between stress and rest. Is what the nervous system actually craves to self-regulate effectively. Pickleball seems to provide that rhythm naturally.
And this rhythm, it's not just physical coordination then, it's described as a precursor to flow, a real departure from a life that felt like constant urgency and multitasking. The steady cadence of the court, the bounce of the ball, the breath, the tap of the paddle, it became like medicine. It's like how babies are soothed by rocking or soldiers find regulation in marching. Rhythm itself is a powerful regulator for the nervous system. It signals safety, it signals belonging. It provided this quiet order, letting the individual feel like they could dance through life instead of constantly juggling. Interestingly, even a small symbolic moment like the serve became really transformative. Initially, just serving the ball brought up all this fear of being seen, judged, carrying the weight of past failures. But over time, the simple permission to keep serving no matter how it landed, that started to soften the author profoundly. It taught this vital lesson that softness isn't weakness, it's actually a form of courage. It's an invitation to just begin again, even after messing up. And the ultimate result, that quiet win, was when this newfound calm didn't just stay on the court. It actually followed me home. It wasn't fragile or temporary. This calm noticeably shifted daily life. Things like driving home in silence and actually being present, not just physically there, being fully present at dinner, even handling a child's nightmare with regulated breath, calmly saying, okay, let's breathe together. Pickleball became, as the sources put, a regulation dojo, a consistent training ground for the nervous system, teaching the body it was safe to drop its shoulders, to listen longer, to react a bit slower. Now let's talk about connection, because many of us, again, like the author, might experience the subtle loneliness without even realizing it's loneliness. You can be surrounded by people but still feel completely unseen. And sometimes loneliness looks like performance, right? Being the competent one, the strong one, the funny one, all maybe to hide a deeper hollowness. But on the pickleball court, just being seen, being remembered by name, someone asking how your week was, that started to soften a part of the author that had been really rigid, really guarded.
And that brings us to the unique dynamic of the dink shot and the kitchen line in pickleball. So a dink is this soft, very patient shot played just, 2 feet from your opponent. It forces eye contact. It forces proximity. And this creates what the sources describe as almost a sacred space, a space where people naturally stop performing and just are. This shared vulnerability, which can be terrifying at first, right, slowly softens those defensive edges. It makes high fives feel natural. It genuinely builds bridges between people in a powerful shift from isolation towards real connection.
So this deep need we have for connection, it's not just like a preference, it's
Yeah.
often a biological cry. Our sources remind us we evolved in tribes, we're hardwired for touch, for laughter, for ritual, for eye contact, for shared attention. And the pickleball court, in its sort of elegant simplicity, it remarkably met these unspoken needs. Loneliness isn't some character flaw, it's a signal. And the cure, it seems, isn't about being impressive, it's just about being present. Finding that sweet spot between tension and calm, like the Yerkes Dodson curve suggests, where we function best with just the right amount of arousal, not too much, not too little. And that presence, crucially, often gets expressed through what the authors call the alchemy of eye contact and laughter. Connection doesn't always need a lot of words, does it? A shared laugh after a terrible shot, a quick, knowing look boom that releases oxytocin, the trust hormone. It signals safety to your whole system. These little micro moments, they gradually replace guardedness with genuine warmth. They turn strangers into companions. The author even started tracking soul points in their journal, recognizing moments of meaning that went way beyond any score.
It's really powerful how these courtmates became mirrors, reflecting back regions of the author that had been buried or maybe forgotten for a long time. Like Robert, who just said, "You kept it alive," mirroring the author's effort, their persistence. Or Mia declaring, "We don't do judgment here," mirroring warmth and acceptance. And Jamal, with his wise observation, "Best losses are the ones you show up for," mirroring joy and resilience. These interactions allowed the author to see a truer self, not just their mistakes, but their capacity for laughter, for leadership, for genuine belonging.
And this sense of belonging, it ultimately culminated in something the author describes as building a life where someone misses you. Just this tangible feeling of lightness, less loneliness, that consistently followed days on the court. The ultimate sign, though, was subtle. A rainy day, friends met for coffee anyway, confirming they came for each other, and someone specifically said they hoped the author would join too. That quiet wish behind every lonely heart just to have your absence felt, that's the real antidote to loneliness. It comes down to consistent presence, kindness, building that rhythm of connection that genuinely remembers you. Okay, let's shift to partnership. Because for many, including the author, being a good partner used to mean, well, overcompensating, caring more than your share. This pattern often starts young, a kind of parentified coping, taking on too much responsibility. And this hyper-responsibility shows up on the court, doesn't it? Overexertion, darting across the net for balls that aren't even yours, trying to prevent any failure. Doubles play, though, because you only have half the court. It actively challenges this. It forces trust. It forces shared responsibility.
Right. And what's particularly insightful here is the idea that trust begins in the body, not just as a conscious thought. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory helps explain this. Our bodies are constantly unconsciously assessing safety, he calls it neuroception. So when you're partnered with someone who feels calm, who feels consistent, your nervous system actually shifts. It moves out of fight or flight and into what Porges calls a ventral vagal state. That's the state of safety, connection, social engagement. And then mirror neurons amplify this further, reinforcing this co-regulation between partners. It's happening physiologically.
That makes sense. And it leads to understanding the space between mine and yours on the court more deeply. That split-second hesitation, whose ball is it? It reveals so much about control, communication, trust. Calls like mine sometimes aren't just assertive. They might signal anxiety or a need for control. Healthy partnerships, the sources suggest, they rely more on attunement. Not constant chatter, but a soft glance, a shoulder turn, a shared rhythm. Daniel Siegel calls this kind of intuitive understanding mindsight. And ultimately, the really profound lesson here seems to be that healing is a rally, not a solo swing. Healing isn't the straight line or some fixed destination you arrive at. It's more like a continuous series of small recoveries, small redirections, just like a long rally in pickleball. It accepts imperfection. It asks you to just stay in it. Even losing a game can actually lead to a deeper connection, like it did for the author and a longtime friend on the court. The nervous system learns through these consistent patterns, with oxytocin and mirror neurons constantly reinforcing that feeling of safety. Resilience, then, isn't about being untouched. It's about being influenced, engaging, but staying intact. Many of us know that feeling of quiet burnout, right? That sense of fading rather than some big collapse. For the author, pickleball was almost a last resort, a desperate willingness to just keep showing up even when everything inside was screaming, "What's the point?" Putting his words, "You're not your game today. You're still you. Come back in." Those were like a lifeline. Resilience, for the author, it stopped being a trait they hoped for and became a daily, deliberate choice. Just return. Even losing every single game, just holding the paddle was a victory. It redefined success as simply staying in the rally.
Yeah, the beauty there is how the rally became a mirror, reflecting these deeper, often unconscious behavioral patterns, like constantly chasing unwise shots, overextending, overcompensating on court. These things directly mirrored real-life habits of taking on too much, maybe not setting boundaries, and just observing how you handle disappointment. Do you drop your head? Sigh loudly, immediately apologize. These give huge clues about self-trust where healing is needed. The author even wrote a resilience letter to themselves, really internalizing these lessons from the court.
So these insights then translate into practical skills off the court, micro recoveries and muscle memory for resilience. We're talking small, gentle acts, rewiring the nervous system after minor setbacks, a pause instead of spiraling, a conscious breath instead of melting down. This practice, it's like a gym for the brain, really. It makes daily life feel softer, less reactive. It builds this familiarity with failure, which kind of paradoxically starts to feel like freedom. And there's a particular power in what the sources call playing after the fall. It's not about bouncing back perfectly. It's about rallying with the scar tissue, with grief, with your imperfections. Robert's insistence, you're staying, we don't rotate out because of off days, that allowed the author to stay even when feeling like a total mess. And seeing others show up tired or with injuries like Becky, Carlos, Alicia, in the stories that redefined resilience. It's showing up when you don't want to. It's playing your way back to yourself, one rally at a time.
And if we zoom out, this idea that resilience extends beyond the lines of the court is key. Think about the faded, imperfect lines on a well-used court. They still guide the game, right? Just like resilience shapes our lives through effort, through play, through loss. The calm, the patience, the ability to hit reset that you learn on the court that transfers directly to handling tough feedback, navigating loneliness, managing that inner critic. It's the quiet story of rebuilding, of brushing things off without bitterness, and realizing that losing a game absolutely does not make you a loser.
This whole journey seems to lead towards what the authors call pickleball zen, a state of effortless presence. The second serve mindset really captures this. It's committing to showing up with breath and grace, letting go of needing that first attempt to be perfect. The real magic isn't in getting it right the first time, it's in the courage to try again. And in the middle of a rally, the author found their mind, which usually raced, would just quiet down, become simply present without trying. For someone constantly battling their own thoughts, that felt like, well, a miracle.
That state you're describing, where action and awareness just merge, where effort feels easy, that's what psychologists call flow. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi coined the term. Flow is that immersive state where your brain's default mode network, the part busy with self-criticism, tracking time, it goes quiet, leading to what he called silence inside the noise. And pickleball seems to provide the perfect ingredients: rhythmic movement, focused attention, the right level of challenge, and a safe, supportive space. Flow isn't about disappearing or zoning out. It's about fully arriving, remembering who you were before maybe the weight of adulthood settled in.
So the court literally became the doorway to now, anchoring the author right in the present. You can't really multitask in a fast volley. There's no time to ruminate about the past or worried about the future. You're just perceiving details. The light, the sounds, the feel of the paddle grip. Mindfulness in this context isn't about changing life dramatically, but about intensely noticing it. Forgetting a watch, playing freely without constantly checking time or score, that transformed how time and awareness felt. Pickleball became this sweaty, imperfect, fully alive kind of meditation.
And what's truly remarkable is how the body starts to learn to tune the inner instrument. Your body, with its breath, its intuition, it acts like an inner tuning fork. In flow, that background noise of life thins out and this resonance emerges. You find yourself moving before thinking, anticipating without overanalyzing. This is implicit processing, or you can call it embodied wisdom. Action becomes instinctual. The court gives you permission to stop narrating every single move and just start feeling again, which leads to real physical signs like no more jaw clenching or sleeping better.
This whole journey, then, it reveals the stillness inside the swing. It sounds paradoxical, doesn't it? Finding quiet within motion, a sanctuary. Worth isn't found in how well you perform, but in the quality of attention you bring to each step, each shot, each breath. This stillness lets you live from a place of presence, not performance, even right after you miss a shot. And the ultimate test, maybe, is bringing flow home. Flow isn't some reward you earn. It's a practice of arrival in any moment. The author started experimenting, doing just one thing at a time, brushing teeth with full awareness, pouring coffee slowly. With her daughter on a puzzle, she describes stopping the performance of presence and actually living it. It becomes about doing less, but with more depth, letting go of judging everything, optimizing everything, just meeting the moment with your whole self intact. This really reoriented her life, making it feel more mine, she said, and less like something to constantly escape from. For so many of us, life gets measured by numbers, right? Grades, salaries, performance reviews, wins and losses. Pickleball at first brought that same scoreboard mentality for the author. Every point felt like a test, every mistake a mark against their worth. But losing a really close game sparked a different, deeper question. Who am I without the scoreboard? The author started asking new questions. Did I actually enjoy that? Was I present? Did I offer joy to others? Did I learn something? These became the new scoreboard, felt in the heart, not tallied on paper.
Mm.
And slowly, the old numbers lost their power. This shift revealed the points that didn't count officially, but mattered most, what the author called soul points. These were like invisible victories, returning a shot you thought was impossible but laughing while doing it, or seeing a new player hit a confident drop shot. These moments, they don't show up on any scoreboard, but they build real self-worth. They reinforce that sense of, I'm still here. Healing, as the sources really stress, doesn't fit on a spreadsheet. Joy can't be measured that way. It lives in quiet choices, choosing grace over ego, staying present instead of panicking. This naturally led towards ikigai, that Japanese concept, your reason for being, whispering, you're still here, so live like it matters. The game became this powerful mirror, constantly asking, who am I really? Not the resume, not the roles you play, not the masks you wear, but who are you when you're tired, when you're losing, when nobody's clapping? The court, yeah, it exposed old patterns, quick to blame, maybe slow to recover, desperate to prove something, but crucially, it also showed how to change, how to become someone truer, less reactive, more grounded, simply by responding to failure with kindness. Okay, you're still here. That's enough. Celia, a player mentioned with a limp, put it beautifully. I don't play to win. I play to remember who I am. So this whole journey is about becoming more than the win. Think about that empty feeling after you achieve a goal that was only about winning. The shift is from playing to prove something to playing to express something. The author observed others who just embodied this groundedness, the quiet player picking up stray balls, the retiree who didn't even keep score, the teenager who kept serving bravely despite missing. This redefined success as alignment, being present, honoring your body, respecting your partner, and that liberation, it empowers you. Shake more risks off the court, speak more honestly, love more openly. Losing a game without losing yourself, that's a really significant win. Ultimately, this is all about playing for the why, finding your ikigai, that beautiful Japanese concept, your reason for being. It isn't some huge abstract thing. It's found right there in human moments on the court, a well-placed shot, yes, but also a shared laugh, a connection with a stranger. Purpose can be incredibly simple. Show up, move your body, encourage someone else. It's about feeling most alive when you're present, grounded when you're in rhythm with joy, unmeasured, unfiltered, unafraid. It becomes a daily practice of ikigai. Why are you here? Because this brings me joy. It reminds me I'm not alone. It teaches presence, humility, courage.
Okay, so we've heard these really compelling stories, these experiences, but let's try to distill the core science. Why has this, let's face it, funny name sport become such a sanctuary for millions? Pickleball isn't explicitly saying, okay, time to heal. It's just inviting us to move. And in that simple invitation, something dormant gets awakened. Neurologically, emotionally, maybe even spiritually, it offers this radical, almost subversive permission to simply play in a world that often demands productivity. One key scientific idea here is embodied cognition. This concept basically says our physical experiences aren't just things that happen to us, they profoundly shape our thoughts, our emotions, our very sense of self. Think about how writing by hand engages your brain differently than typing. Pickleball's tactile feedback, its rhythm, its specific coordination, they engage the brain deeply, actively reinforcing ideas and building new neural pathways. Cognition isn't just stuck up in the brain, it's distributed throughout our entire body. And here's where it gets, I think, truly fascinating. There's a remarkable parallel in the neurobiology between this kind of activity and human intimacy. Healthy sexual interaction, for instance, triggers this powerful cascade of neurotransmitters, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, serotonin, which actively regulate the nervous system and foster deep trust. Now, strikingly similar neurochemical and physiological patterns emerge in rhythmic, socially engaging physical activities like dancing, drumming, and, yes, pickleball. Both kinds of experiences seem to remind the body, you are alive, you are connected, you are safe. They often leave a similar kind of post-activity afterglow.
Wow, that's a really powerful connection. So if we sort of break it down, it seems pickleball uniquely fuses these three core healing ingredients that you rarely find all together in one place. First, physical movement that feels genuinely approachable, not intimidating. Second, real-time social connection that feels safe, really safe. And third, this emotional permission to be imperfect, to just be. It feels like it's the specific combination that unlocks so much potential.
Precisely. And our sources actually lay out a pretty clear comparison, highlighting why pickleball stands out, especially against other racket sports. First, court size. It's small, 44 by 20 feet. That encourages closeness, natural conversation, unlike a big tennis court or being isolated in racquetball. Movement intensity, it's generally low to moderate, short bursts, very accessible, not like the high intensity of tennis or racquetball for many people. Learning curve. This is a big one. It's remarkably low. Beginners often enjoy rallies right away, unlike the sometimes steep curve in tennis. Social interaction. It's inherently high because of that proximity. It fosters spontaneous connection, unlike maybe distant tennis play or even ping pong sometimes. Injury risk. Significantly lower, generally. The slower pace, the underhand serves reduce impact compared to high-impact tennis or racquetball. Neurobiological benefits. Extremely high. We've talked about flow states, rhythm, co-regulation. It actively promotes these. Accessibility. Excellent across all ages. You genuinely see people from 8 to 88 playing together. Equipment cost, pretty low. Paddles around $40 maybe, much less than expensive tennis rackets. And finally, the healing factor. Very high, precisely because it combines that low-pressure environment with genuine bonding potential. So yeah, this unique balance is exactly what seems to make it such an effective catalyst for healing. It seamlessly blends hand-eye coordination, rhythmic movement, and that crucial interpersonal interaction. This activates multiple brain regions involved in emotional regulation, memory, empathy. It invites movement without making you feel intimidated, connection without demanding pretense, and focus without overwhelming pressure. And crucially, that inclusivity across generations fosters a deep sense of psychological safety, which is just absolutely essential for any real healing to take root.
So it really is more than just play. It's almost therapy disguised as fun. While lots of other sports might emphasize pure competition above all else, pickleball seems to consistently reward presence, participation, rhythm. It's a game built on eye contact, shared effort, and meeting missed shots with understanding, not judgment. As our sources put it so well, the real win isn't on the scoreboard. It's in the nervous system. It's like a collective nervous system reset, baked right into every serve, every laugh, every moment of eye contact through that powerful process of co-regulation.
And this idea of micro-repair experiences is just critical. Think about it. Every single rally where a mistake is met with a high five instead of a grimace. Every point that ends in shared laughter instead of critique. Each of these small moments sends a powerful signal to your nervous system. You are safe here, you belong, you can try again.
Huh.
This consistent positive signaling literally softens the amygdala's alarm system, makes the prefrontal cortex more resilient, re-engages that vital vagus nerve for calm and connection. It drops harmful cortisol levels, and it elevates those feel-good neurotransmitters. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins. Over time, these consistent signals literally help the brain remember what hope feels like.
So we've really unpacked how pickleball offers this powerful and importantly accessible pathway, a way to reconnect with yourself, re-engage with others, and ultimately just feel fully human again. It doesn't demand perfection. It just wholeheartedly welcomes your presence. It doesn't ask you to escape life and invites you to return to it maybe more fully, more compassionately.
Which brings us, I think, to a crucial question for you, for everyone listening. What's your version of the court? Where do you feel most present, most engaged, most truly yourself? Where can you find your own unique paddle, whatever that might be? Step into that space and just allow that light to re-enter.
Because as our sources powerfully suggest, the court, whatever form it takes for you, whether it's cracked or pristine, crowded or quiet, it's always there. It's a place where healing happens in motion and where every single serve, every rally, every small attempt is a conscious vote for hope. You're already here. Now, just notice.